Trauma is deeply connected to our identity. It is formed and sustained through identity. It doesn't just happen in a single moment. It sticks with us because of how we see ourselves and our past experiences. I was having a conversation with a friend and I said to him, trauma is formed and sustained through identity. When we go through trauma, it's not only about what happened, but how our feelings and our emotions change our view of who we are. And that triggers memories and the beliefs about ourselves. And that's why I say trauma is tied to our identity. The identity we create based on our past experiences shapes how we live in the present moment. To grow, we need to let go of the versions of ourselves we hold on to, especially the parts tied to trauma. As long as we keep identifying with it, trauma will continue to control us. It's also through trauma that we develop addictive behavior, trying to escape the person we think we are. This identity, we use these habits to avoid facing the pain and the identity attached to the trauma. Trauma isn't just one event, it has the power to pull us back into time, into the past. It connects us to moments from the past when the trauma occurred. It doesn't only affect the present, but it also brings up old wounds. You might even still feel like the person you were back then when it first happened. And I'm not laughing at the situation, I'm laughing at the illusion of it. We start to identify with the past version of ourselves instead of being in the present with who we are now. The journey of spiritual awakening is about recognizing that we are not defined by the trauma we've experienced. It's about awakening to the truth that we are more than the identity formed by our past pain. When we awaken spiritually, we begin to see ourselves not just as the person we think we are, but as something deeper, a conscious being, a soul, beyond the identity that is tied to trauma. This awakening allows us to live in the present, free from the weight of the past. You can only think about the past in the present moment. Trauma lives in our identity, and our attachment to the past keeps it alive. We can't heal if we keep going back to who we were. That only reinforces the pain and all the negative beliefs we formed back then. But when we awaken, when we start to realize that we are more than just this body, we are more than our past, we begin to realize that no trauma has control over us. We are more than the person who suffered or who carried the trauma. The key to healing is recognizing that we are more than the trauma we carry. We are not just this body. We are a conscious being having an experience. The more we understand this, the more we can free ourselves from past trauma. It's important to recognize who you are. It's important to stay in the moment. You can take back your power by choosing not to identify with your trauma. Focus on the present moment, not the past. Fear belongs to the past. It doesn't define who you are now. The past is like a graveyard full of old memories. But you have the power to live in the present moment. When you stay in the present, it will not pull you back into the past. And then you start to feel like we're reliving the past. We're actually that person back then that experienced that trauma. When you are present, you are free from the chain of past trauma. The journey of spiritual awakening helps us to recognize that we are pure consciousness. Your true self doesn't go through trauma. The person you identify with experiences the trauma, but your true self is always observing it, not affected by it, but it observes it. That is the consciousness that we are. Awakening to this is how you break free from the grips of trauma, the horrible grip of trauma, and live fully in the present. When you awaken to the truth, you realize that this moment is all that we have. Healing comes when we stop identifying with the past. We can choose to be present. And in that moment, we have the power to change. Even by not making a choice, you still chose. But you have the power to overcome the trauma you've experienced. Your power cannot be taken away from you, but you can give away your power. You can give up your power by identifying with the trauma, by identifying with the past. So take back your power and live in the moment. Don't let trauma control your life. Who you were then is not who you are now. Wake up to the truth of who you are and let go of the past. Don't live through trauma. Release it and be in the moment. The spiritual journey is about awakening to the deeper truth of who you are, beyond the identity tied to your past trauma. It's about living fully in the present, free from the weight of what has been. You have the power to choose your life right now, right here. Thank you for listening. Thank you.